What's up everyone, Trent here. I spent the first 5 years of my career learning lead generation and prospecting best practices working in sales at a public software company. I am currently implementing the exact systems I used to find success with then at my family business now because I'm leading sales and I want to grow the company. In today's video, I'm going to share with you step by step how you can set more meetings today. Since I've put my system in place 2 weeks ago and started taking prospecting serious again, I'm proud to share I've set 4 meetings, one of which has turned into a legitimate opportunity, which I'm super pumped about. So I'm confident that whatever industry, whatever buyers you sell into, this system will work because I'm selling into an entirely new industry, entirely new buyers myself. There are 3 steps you must follow in order to get the best results and set the most meetings possible. Step number 1 is to identify high potential companies, accounts to target. Step number 2 is then to identify your ideal buyer within those target companies. This is the most important step, so I will be doing a screen share showing you how I manage my actual account list in Google Sheets, how I then find those accounts in LinkedIn, how I then go within those accounts in LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find the buyers, and then how I automatically add the buyers to a sequence using Apollo. All of these tools are completely free, really important to know. Step number 3 is then what sequencing and messaging cadences do you use to reach out to these buyers, calling, emailing, LinkedIn notes to maximize your ability to set meetings with them. I make free trainings like this because I find a lot of satisfaction from teaching and hopefully helping others find success in their job, growing their companies. So I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button on this video because it helps the channel and hopefully more people will see this message. Step number 1 is to identify high potential companies to target. How do we identify what high potential actually means? So what we need to start with is if you work at a company, hopefully your company has given you a list of accounts to target. Or like me, you're growing a business for yourself and you have to go find a net new account list. If you have to find a net new account list, there's a lot of research you're gonna have to do online and due diligence. I'm not gonna cover that process in today's video, but if you do have an existing account list, I want you to think about it like mining for gold. Have you seen that show Gold Rush, Gold Diggers, where they have these sleuths? And what they do is they have these big machines, they put rocks in on this side, and then it goes through this washing process, and then at the end they have gold. When you do lead generation and prospecting, your gold is pipeline, setting up meetings. So what do you need to put in at the front of the box? Your inputs in order to get meetings. You need to find companies, you need to find the buyers within those companies. So if you're just going after whale companies, these massive boulders, is that going to be the best strategy? Or is it going to be, let's find the boulders, the whale companies. Let's also dig under the pond and find those little rocks and the pebbles. Let's go take some of this dust from over here and let's put in different sources, different inputs, different account types and sizes into our gold mining process so that we can yield the best results. I want you to think about a high potential company first and foremost with what does our existing customer account list look like? If you have customers, go study your customer stories and understand what industries do customers typically buy from us. Is it banking, financial services, 500 employees or less based in the Southeast? Is it restaurant brands, $1 billion in revenue with 5,000 employees or more? Understand deeply your existing customer list because the use cases, the products you're selling to them will also transcend to other companies that make up that ideal customer profile. And then I want you to think about the companies you're going after based on different filters like revenue. The more money they make, the larger budget they're going to have to spend with you. The more employees they're going to have, the more complexity they face that you can solve. And ultimately, industry, are they a former customer? Do they have existing spend, cross-sell, upsell? So think about your account list with different types of accounts to go after, and I want you to start making a list of the top 50 of those accounts. Step number 2 is then to go identify your ideal buyers within those accounts, and I'm going to share with you my exact system for doing that now. Once you've completed step number 1 of identifying your account list, your territory plan of ideally your top 50 companies, you are then ready to go on the step number 2, which is mining these companies to find who is your ideal buyer persona within the companies. I want you to list the account name. In my case, I'm looking at number of locations. I have their website, and we're now going to go find the contact to reach out to within each of these accounts. So let's start with CareVet. They're an animal hospital. I'm going to go to LinkedIn now. And what you do is you just go to your LinkedIn page. You want to make sure to have an optimized profile. you'll just search for that account within LinkedIn, CareVet right here. And keep in mind, this is free to do. You do not need LinkedIn Sales Navigator to get to this step. You do need LinkedIn Sales Navigator to access the actual database they have. It's like $100 a month, so super worth it. So you're gonna click on LinkedIn Sales Navigator like you see right here. We can see company name CareVet, and all you're gonna do is search for the keyword of your ideal buyer persona. So in my case, it's operations, it's buyer, it's purchasing. So I'm gonna type in purchasing right now, and let's see who we can find. So we're scrolling through. I don't see any people with purchasing. Let's see if we can find a buyer. And that's the challenge a lot of the case. If you do not have a well-defined system for identifying your buyer, which I'm still developing, then it's a challenge to find them. In my previous role selling tech, I knew it was human resources. Now I'm looking at for folks who are in a procurement buying role. I'm not exactly sure if this is the right person to buy my products, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to them as if they are my ideal buyer. And if they are not, whenever I speak with them, I will then ask, well, who oversees what I'm trying to reach out to? So you can see we found Brett right here, and I'm going to press view email address. And we have his email address right here, and this is the Apollo extension, which is free to add, and it's free to find emails. It's super useful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy his email right there. I'm gonna paste it, boom. I'm gonna go back to my system, put it right there. So I've found my buyer who I'm gonna reach out to. Ideally, you wanna find as many buyers as you possibly can find. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press sequence and then add to a sequence. I have a few different sequences. I'm gonna add them to my Pure Alpha sequence, which is a combination of calls and emails. And that is all you're gonna do to find your buyers. You're gonna have your entire territory plan. You're gonna go company by company. You're gonna find them. You're gonna go back to the company, search it, employees, navigator, and then you're gonna start to search through the keywords to help you find the ideal title you're looking for. If you guys are interested in a more robust and deeper overview of how to use all the custom filters for lead and account lists in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, do let me know in the comments down below because I'm happy to make this video. But you're gonna repeat this process all day, adding ideally a minimum of 5 new prospects to your sequence each and every day. You wanna make sure you're reaching out to the right people. You're gonna add them to your account. Very important to be tracking over time. Add them to a sequence, and boom. And that's the completion of step number 2. What we've covered so far in today's video is how to set more meetings today. Step number 1, identify your ideal companies. Step number 2 is identify your ideal buyer within those companies. And now step number 3 is to begin reaching out to actively prospecting the buyers within those companies. In sales, you are a hunter. You are paid to be told no. You are a producer, meaning you don't sit back and wait for meetings to come to you. You go get meetings for yourself. So in order to do this, you need to use a variety of prospecting methods, primarily cold calling, cold emailing, using LinkedIn to send voice notes, sending handwritten notes, sending packages, showing up on site, whatever it takes to get the prospect's attention and set the meeting. This is incredibly challenging, so I want to share with you in step number 3 the exact system I use to have accountability each and every day. Let's get in the computer now. When you begin your cold outreach to prospects, you're going to face a lot of pushback. So the name of the game is volume and consistency. I want you to copy this system where you're tracking the date, you're tracking the amount of calls you're making, you're tracking the live conversations you're having, and you're tracking the meetings you're setting each and every day. So you can then start to calculate at the end of the week, well, I made 84 calls, 5 live conversations, no meetings set. Okay, I need to do better this week. 90 calls, 7 live convos, 3 meetings set. And these are legitimate meetings I set, one of which ended up turning into an opportunity like I shared. But what you're gonna do is just track your activity each and every day so that you can be as consistent as possible. For me, I hold myself to a standard of making at least 20 cold calls a day. And when I'm reaching out to prospects, I use a sequence that is in Apollo. And I'm happy to make a full video sharing how to do the sequences, but it basically is 6 emails, 6 calls over, let's say, 21 days. So you're gonna do a call, leave voicemail, send email, auto, email, call, and you're basically just gonna repeat this process of calling and emailing your prospects over time until you either reach them, set up the meeting, until you reach them, they tell you no. Maybe you reach them and they're able to identify to you who is the ideal buyer you should actually be reaching out to. But that is the name of the game. All you do is if you can increase your top of funnel prospects and leads that you're finding, you do not need to be the most skilled rep in the world to begin recognizing more meetings. The more meetings you set, the more money you're gonna make. The more meetings, the more pipeline you have, it's going to solve all of your problems. So what we covered in today's video is the lead generation strategy that will work for you to set more meetings and prospect in 2023 by finding the ideal accounts you need to reach out to, your ideal buyers within those accounts, and then using the appropriate messaging and contact methods to actually set up meetings with them. If you found value in today's video, reach out to me on LinkedIn, connect with me, send me a message, let me know your thoughts, let me know any questions you have. I read all of my message, I respond to all my messages, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching here today.